This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Now at 6, a crash involving 8 vehicles shutting down a busy part of I-465. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Nicole Griffin. Just into the newsroom within the last hour and a half, we've learned a woman and 2 toddlers were killed in this crash. Investigators say witnesses report a semi-driver traveling at a high rate of speed plowed into stopped traffic, causing the car with those 3 people inside to burst into flames. IFD says the 57-year-old semi-truck driver who was traveling from Missouri to Ohio reports that a car cut in front of him and sped away, causing him to slam on his brakes and crash into the car with those 3 people inside. In total, 6 cars, a truck with a mobile home, and a semi were involved. It took first responders just under an hour to extricate everyone from their vehicles. 7 adults were transported to the hospital. They are all expected to survive. Tonight, the investigation continues into a shooting at an East Side gas station that left 3 people injured. It happened last night just before 11:30 at the mobile gas station at 42nd and Midhofer. Police say a car pulled into the lot and there was an altercation resulting in several gunshots exchanged. 2 18-year-old men and a 17-year-old were shot and taken to the hospital. Police are looking for several shooters in this case. At last check, they were not sure the history between the suspects and the victims or what led up to the gunfire.
We have no backstory or history as to why. At the end of the day, regardless of what the backstory is or the history, nothing as important as shooting up a gas station and cars and shooting 3 individuals over for something I'm pretty sure is going to be pretty stupid.
Investigators are tracking down witnesses and reviewing surveillance video from the gas station to determine what happened. If you know any information, you can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. A Central Indiana church is planning a big blessing in the sum of $5.2 million to erase medical debt for thousands of Hoosiers. RTV6's Cameron Riddle joins us live in the studio with details on this surprise, possibly coming to a mailbox near you. Cameron.
Yeah, that's right, Nicole. This is something that I'm praying for, and you might want to put in a prayer too. It's something a lot of people are praying for, and that's all they can do. A big chunk of money could be coming their way, large enough to wipe out their debt and hit the reset button for a better and more affordable life. And that is all thanks to a church in Kokomo, as thousands of Hoosiers could have their medical debt wiped to zero. That's a blessing they will not see coming. Fuel Church of Kokomo, led by Pastor Jacob Burgai, made an investment in the Central Indiana families they aim to serve, giving $20,000 to RIP Medical Debt. That's a nonprofit organization that purchases medical debt for pennies on the dollar and eliminating debt from families already recovering from life's toughest moments. Burgai says it is the church's way of paying it forward.
We had some money allotted in our budget to do some renovations here at the church this summer, and our board of directors agreed to take that money and to give it to help eliminate $5.2 million in medical debt for people in Howard County and Miami County. We just want them to know, because of what Jesus did paying our debt, your debt has been forgiven.
The 3,400 Hoosiers who will get their debt wiped out completely do not know it yet, but that'll change this week when both members of that church and complete strangers go to check their mailboxes. They will be receiving a letter with very good news. Live in the studio tonight, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
That is an awesome story. Thank you, Cameron. Well, this seems to be a growing trend. Just last week, we told you about a Southern Indiana church that raised $6.2 million to pay off medical debts for people in 4 surrounding counties. The First Capital Christian Church in Corydon also worked with RIP Medical Debt to make this happen. Time now for a check of your forecast with Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kyle Mounds. Another beautiful day, Kyle.
Yeah, a hot one out there and a little more humid for the 9th time. we've made it to 90 degrees. That's where we sit right now. There's that humidity at 45%. At least we've had that southwest breeze helping us out a little bit today, between about 10 and 15 miles per hour, because it does feel a little bit hotter out there. 92, the heat index right now in Indy and Columbus feels like 95 degrees for you in Muncie with a temperature in the upper 80s, and it also feels like 95 in Lafayette. With the heating of the afternoon, we do have a few thunderstorms out there. You can see that's mainly over the northeastern half of central Indiana, and that's going to be the best chance for some rainfall here. Within these downpours, heavy rainfall and frequent lightning, which you can see around the Eaton area and Hartford City. Those are going to be the main impacts here, and these storms not moving all that quickly, so they have been producing some locally heavy rain. You got one between Anderson and Alexandria, and another one there just northeast of Marion. That's where we have a flood advisory here until 8:30 this evening, portions of Grant and Blackford County. So if you do come across some standing water on the roadway, make sure that you avoid that. We've got a few more of these downpours near Delphi, also going to be moving into Logansport as they drift east at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Monticello in there as well. So here's TrueCast as we go through the next couple of hours. You can see those downpours slowly moving through, but once we get to sunset, we'll start to see those quickly fading away. Just an isolated downpour for you. The temperature is still a very toasty 80 degrees at 10 o'clock.
Kyle, thank you. Immigrant communities across the country have been bracing for an ICE crackdown set to kick into high gear today. Those planned raids seeking undocumented immigrants in 9 U.S. cities have sparked protests across the country. Here's Stephanie Ramos with the details.
As federal ICE agents begin those raids in several major U.S. cities, looking to arrest and deport up to 2,000 undocumented immigrants, emotions are running high.
Abolish ICE!
Advocacy groups leading those protests, advising everyone of their rights.
People need to be prepared and know that they do not have to open the door. They do not have to let ICE officers inside.
Acting U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Director Ken Cuccinelli says ICE agents are just doing their jobs.
Over 1 million people in this country who are here illegally have gone through extensive due process, have removal orders, and have not left. It shows how far we've fallen that it's even news that ICE is doing its job.
The issue has been a popular topic among 2020 Democratic presidential candidates, with some accusing President Trump of ordering these raids as a distraction.
He wants us to be talking about this today, and he uses these people as political pawns. He wants chaos because it distracts everyone from all of these other things we should be talking about.
The mayors of several cities where raids are planned say local authorities will not assist agents in the process.
Disrupting families who are just here trying to live their life, that's not who we are or should be as Americans.
Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti tweeting this morning, "We are not coordinating with ICE." ICE responding with their own statement on Twitter saying communities are safer when law enforcement agencies work together. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
Critics say President Trump used racist language to attack progressive Democratic congresswomen. In a series of tweets today, the president implied the congresswomen weren't born in America and sarcastically suggested, quote, they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came. The tweets come after a group of Democrats who are women of color criticized Trump's immigration policies and conditions of border detention facilities. The women, by the way, are all American citizens. Starting tomorrow, drivers will see some changes on College Avenue and Meridian Street. Construction crews will complete new pavement markings to make way for the Indigo Red Line. This weekend, crews are out repaving both roads. In addition to the new lane markings, medians will also be installed. As work on the medians gets underway, drivers will only be allowed to turn left at intersections with traffic signals. Crews will work from north to south, starting on College and then moving to Meridian as paving is complete.
It has been difficult. I've lived in a lot of places with mass transit, and I think that's one of the things that Indianapolis needs is mass transit, more people using mass transit. And I think that what the Red Line does is restore the College Avenue corridor to what it was originally.
Federal federal ICE agents begin
Here's
those
a look
raids
right now at the latest on the timeline for completion. All major road work is expected to be done by July 31st. By mid-August, work on the Red Line stations will be complete. Indigo expects the Red Line, which will run 13 miles through Indianapolis, to be open for service Sunday, September 1st. The entire Indigo system, including the Red Line, will be free to ride during the entire month of September. Tonight, a bicyclist is recovering from his injuries and a driver is under arrest after a crash in Speedway. It happened at 10th Street and Ribolt Avenue around 9:15 this morning. Speedway police say the driver crossed the center line and hit a 50-year-old man who was riding his bike. When first responders arrived, the man was semi-conscious and was taken to the hospital in stable condition. Tonight, investigators are trying to determine why the driver crossed the center line. Heavy rain, flooding, and even the fear of tornadoes. Straight ahead, we'll have the very latest on Tropical Storm Barry. Kyle.
And we have had several 90-degree days so far this year. Look off to the west, though. Valentine, Nebraska. Yeah, we're about to kick that heat up to the next level. I'll let you know when the heat index is going to get into the triple digits. You're watching RTV6 News at 6.
Down on the farm. This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Tropical Storm Barry is dumping tons of rain as it slowly sweeps inland through the Gulf Coast states. New Orleans was not hit directly, but Barry is causing fears elsewhere of flooding, tornadoes, and prolonged power outages. ABC's Elizabeth Herr has the very latest tonight.
Here in New Orleans, the big story on Barry's front is this. The airport is back in business after all of the flights in and out of the city were canceled yesterday. Take a look. Most are now operating on time. This is welcome news for so many, especially for those who tried to get out of town even before the storm hit. Now, as far as the city is concerned, so far, aside from some on and off rain, residents say it looks like they dodged a bullet here. For some perspective, though, it was just last Wednesday some parts of the city got swamped with 8 inches of rain in just 3 hours. And so for officials, preparing for Barry was paramount, and that included closing all of the city's floodgates for the first time in history. That was ahead of Barry's arrival. And also, the mayor at one point even issued voluntary evacuation orders for residents living outside the levees. Bottom line, their focus was to be prepared for anything.
We absolutely made it through the storm. Beyond lucky, we were spared. It seemed as those bands moved closer to New Orleans, it seemed to just go around us.
So for now, while it's been relatively quiet, at least here in New Orleans, officials say until Barry moves out of the area, they're urging residents to remain vigilant. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New Orleans.
And Barry is still bringing some rain to Louisiana. It stretches from the Gulf Coast and even into extreme southern portions of Illinois. Eventually, the remnants of Barry will be bringing some rain to us. This is not Barry related, though. We've got some of those downpours developing over the northern portion of Indiana this afternoon, and some heavy rainfall with these. Look, northern Delaware County, just north of Muncie here, rainfall rates around 1.5 inches per hour, and these storms are not moving very quickly. So localized flooding going to be a concern for us this evening. You can see we also have another downpour here near Delphi. That's going to continue to move toward the east and impact portions of Howard County as we go through the next hour or so. Other than that, it is hot. 90 degrees in downtown Indianapolis, upper 80s in Kokomo and Bloomington with some sunshine out there. And you factor in the humidity that we've got, you notice that came up a little bit more today. It feels like 92 in Indianapolis and Columbus. Feels like 96 degrees right now in Bloomington and Lafayette, a heat index of 95. So tonight we are not going to cool very much. Once again, we'll be down around 70 degrees to start off our Monday morning. And those temperatures, I don't think will warm quite as quickly tomorrow, because really the biggest change in tomorrow's forecast will be a little bit more in the way of some cloud cover here. 86 degrees for you by noon. It's still going to be a muggy day here with temperatures getting into the upper 80s to right around 90. And as we head into the afternoon, we may see an isolated downpour here, but I think even tomorrow that rain coverage is going to be less than what we've got going on this afternoon. Your high temperature 88 in Bloomington. That's because the clouds from Barry will start to move in from the southwest, so that'll impact you tomorrow afternoon. 92 though in Muncie and 90 in Lafayette. So the rain of Barry, here we go, 9 a.m. on Tuesday. You can see that rain getting a little bit closer. I think as we go through the day on Tuesday, rain chances increase. Some of the heaviest rain will be Tuesday night into Wednesday, and then by Wednesday night, the system begins to push off to the east. But we could see between about 1 inch and 2 inches of rainfall here from this system. Some areas a little bit more. So the rain brings a break in the heat. A high of 83 for you on Tuesday, 86 on Wednesday, and then some serious heat after that. Highs in the low to mid 90s and heat index values Thursday into the weekend in the triple digits.
All right, Kyle, another hot week.
Yeah, going to have to prepare for that.
All right, thank you so much. Well, still to come, when you have a great idea, you want to share it. But first, in Hiring Hoosiers, we look at steps to take to protect your intellectual property before going public. Don't forget, we're just a couple of days away from Shark Tank coming to Indy. You can pitch your product or your business idea to producers at an open call this Tuesday, July 16th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Doors open at 6 a.m. We have more information on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com. There are likely many people planning to head to that open call, hoping they have the next best product that will provide good paying jobs. As part of our Hiring Hoosiers initiative, we want to make sure your idea is protected before you go public during Shark Tank's visit to Indy next week. Our Rafael Sanchez has more on how to make your pitch perfect.
Hi, Sharks. I'm Derek Paquet, and I'm a Hoosiers.
It's the pitch.
I don't know if I've ever been more scared of anything in my life.
People hope is perfect.
I'm giving you your full price.
And will pay off.
So, Sharks, who's ready to cut a deal?
Sometimes it does.
Are you out of your mind?
Sometimes it doesn't.
But entering the Shark Tank can be as stressful as the real thing. Like many shark species, you'll need to depend on your gut and fight to survive.
Beyond presenting a unique concept with the potential to make money, you'll also need to make sure your idea or product is legally protected.
There are several basic types of IP protection that protect inventions. There are patents, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secrets. There are some others, but those are probably the four most common.
Jeffrey Kosk is a partner with the Taft Law Firm in Indianapolis. His specialty, intellectual property. He can't give legal advice, but he says Shark Tank participants will more than likely need to file for a utility patent with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. The process is lengthy and involves fees.
So a utility patent covers the way of creating something or doing something, and in order to obtain a utility patent, you have to be able to show that it's something that's not obvious and that's novel, that nobody else has ever done it. And so that's the bar you have to clear.
He also suggests people be cautious about how much of your idea you make public.
As far as yelling it out in public, there are some concerns in terms of the timing of applications. In the United States, you have 1 year to apply for a patent from your first public disclosure, and in many foreign jurisdictions, you have no days from your first public disclosure. As soon as you disclose it publicly, you can no longer obtain patent protection. So it's important to evaluate, what your market potential is before you start making any public disclosures of your inventions.
So here's a myth buster. Sharks are not eating machines, but those entering the TV Shark Tank will have to have an appetite of an idea that will make a splash in the marketplace. In Indianapolis, Rafael Sanchez, RTV6.
Rafael, thank you. Here's a consumer alert involving invention scams. Be wary of people offering to help you with your idea for a fee. You may want to consult a lawyer to help with the patent process. You could do it yourself if you take the time to understand a very detailed process. We have more information for you at hiringhoosiers.com. We'll be right back with the final check of your forecast. Amazon Prime Day starts tomorrow, but it's not the only online retailer hoping to lure you with mega bargains. Target is now hosting its own deal days on the same day, but tread carefully when looking at deals. While Amazon focuses on discounts for electronics as well as things that are considered more novelty items, Target is offering deals on a wider variety of products like furniture, kitchen tools, and toys. And of course, with Amazon, if you want to get in on the deals, you'll need to pay for a Prime membership. With Target, you can just grab and go. We talked to a retail expert who says if you're shopping for discounted items, you'll need to be careful to not buy things that will end up gathering dust later.
And on these types of days, what I try and do is caution consumers and to really stop and thinking about, is this a product I'm going to use? Have I had a felt need for this product before? Or is it the deal, just the high of getting a deal that's driving me?
It's something to think about while you're shopping, and it's not just Amazon and Target having deal days. Walmart and eBay are also offering discounts, but our experts say Amazon likely won't be threatened by the competing business because they make a lot of their money from Prime memberships. Kyle, let's get a check of the forecast.
Yeah, and we do have a few downpours out there this evening. Carroll County, a new flood advisory.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at 11.